2011 as the assistant principal of Clinton Junior High School and was on staff for 15 years in the capacity of principal of Clinton Junior High School, CFO, and finally as superintendent. No indication was made as to who would lead the district going forward. Goebel declined to comment to the Hart Media Group. The Hart Media Group also reached out to representatives of the Board of Education for further comment, but did not hear back at the time of this story. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, warm weather expected to stick around. The DeWitt County Museum Association is inviting the public to its old-fashioned ice cream social, which will take place the afternoon of Sunday, July 19th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the C.H. Moore Homestead and DeWitt County Museum, located at 219 East Woodlawn in Clinton. This is a free event courtesy of the DeWitt County Museum Association and the generosity of America 250 at the Homestead, celebrating 250 years of American history sponsors. The community is cordially invited to join them for all the free ice cream and baked goods they care to eat, as well as ice-cold lemonade and tea, musical entertainment by renowned old-time fiddle and banjo duo Peaches and Bacon, and horse-drawn carriage rides. Free parking will be available in the lot directly across from the museum, the corner of Monroe and Woodlawn Streets, the corner of Woodlawn and Center Streets, and the grassy field just north of the museum's red-covered bridge. Guests are welcome to bring lawn chairs or blankets if preferred. The museum will also provide bench seating. For safety and sanitary reasons, no pets will be allowed on the museum grounds during the event. The gathering will take place on the museum's shaded front lawn. This is a rain or shine event that will be moved to the museum's carriage barn in the case of rain. For more information about this or any of the museum's other America 250 at the Homestead events, call 217-935-6066, visit chmoorehomestead.org, or find them on Facebook at CH Moore Homestead at DeWitt County Museum. America 250 at the Homestead events will be taking place each month throughout the year. The dog days of summer are officially upon us as we battle more heat in central Illinois this week. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Ed Shimon at the National Weather Service in Lincoln told the Hart Media Group that highs will persist around 90 degrees with overnight lows not cooling down very much.
Yeah, today is a high in the upper 80s, and then we're going to be seeing lows roughly, in the 60s, mid 60s or so. Definitely going to be warm. That's today and tonight. And then we're going to be transitioning to even a little bit hotter on Tuesday, Wednesday. Looks like the hottest day maybe Thursday, where we actually creep up a little bit more into the 90s. Roughly 90, 91, 92 is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe like 94 on Thursday. And then Friday, similar to Thursday, 93 or so, with overnight lows really not having a whole lot of relief, roughly in the low 70s every day, 72 to 74 overnight lows. And then those rain chances, I've seen a 20% chance later in the day on Friday, maybe a pop up here or there. But then the first cooler day, like not in the 90s, doesn't come until maybe Sunday, where we only get 89. So nice cool day there on Sunday. Typical summer days every day this week, low 90s for highs and low to mid 70s for lows. And, that's definitely when those lows don't get into the 60s. That does take a little bit out of you too, because at night you expect to be cooling down and then your body can recover. But when we're looking at heat headlines, if the temperature and the heat index don't get below 75, we consider that excessive heat retention for the overnight period. So you don't think about the overnight coming into play with heat, but it really does. If the lows stay in the 70s, your body just, and the homes can't recover, your air conditioning is continuously working even overnight.
With the summer growing season in full effect, the humidity is spiked thanks to the cornfields. Shimon says the dome of heat is setting up over the Midwest for the next few weeks with minimal chances of rain until the weekend.
Right now, we're looking at some heat building in, and we're going to be under some high pressure the good part of this week. So dry conditions and just turning hot and humid, that cornfields are pumping the moisture into the air. So humidity is going to be up. Heat indices will be just below that heat advisory level of 105 from Tuesday all the way into early Saturday. Multiple days of that heat, can start to wear on you. So we may need to look at a heat advisory just for multiple days near advisory numbers there. But the next chance of rain really coming in Saturday, this weekend, unfortunately the weekend. But it doesn't look like, a lot of soaking rains, more hit or miss, but where you do get rain, the atmosphere is going to dump. And I've seen that on the Cocoa Roz mapping and the plots of, what rain has hit the ground on our MRM multi-radar, multi-sensor plots. Some areas have 6.5, 7 inches, and then parts of DeWitt County, one of our Cocoa Roz sites in DeWitt has 0.90 for the month. So it's, I just plotted up all of July and highly variable right now. But where you did get rain, boy, it came down, and we had some flooding issues the last few times we've had, rainstorms come through, including the 4th of July days there. So, but the rest of the month, you really are trending down. The 6 to 10 still has a little bit of above normal chance in rain, but the 8 to 14 and the rest of the month both show near normal or slightly below normal potential there for precipitation. Might start slowing down in terms of the rainfall.
Later this week, we could see some heat advisories being issued by the Weather Service. We'll have more on the various advisories and what they mean for the public later this week from the Hart Media Group. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Chevrolet is the heartbeat of America, and now is the time to celebrate our nation's birthday in a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City, inviting you to come see our selection of Chevrolets, like the sporty Chevrolet Trax and the good-looking Trailblazer. We also have a good selection of Chevrolet Equinox and the full-size Traverse. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 19 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. We're less than 2 months out from the Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa, and the demo plots are rounding into shape, says the show's Matt Youngman.
Not too long ago, there was, some spots in central Iowa that got 10, 12, 13, 15 inches of rain. And the Boone site, fortunately, did not have that. I think it was a total of 4.5 inches over about 30 hours that fell, which is plenty of rain, but nothing like the flooding and stuff that happened north of Ankeny. So the site looks incredible. The field demo corn, we partnered with John Deere. They came in and planted all of our field demo acres over the course of 2 days. It all got up and looks incredible. And then we've added a new feature to the show this year called the Agronomy Zone. We've always done a real good job of giving combine companies and tillage companies the opportunity to demonstrate. Been doing that for almost 75 years now, but we've not really done a good job of giving input companies, if it's seed or crop protection or fertility, giving those companies the opportunity to demo. So we hired a professional agronomist, and we had 13 companies step on board for the first year here. 7 of which are brand new to the Farm Progress Show, never been there before. And so they have stepped in, and we've planted plots in April for them that are on their exhibits. So basically their exhibits have been laid out since the corn went in the ground on their exhibit in April. And, keeping a close eye on those and doing all the protocols that are needed for what they want to show off in that agronomy zone. It gives us another crop to be concerned about in addition to the field demos, but that's what folks want to see is they want to see these products actually demonstrated and side-by-side comparisons and those kind of things.
If you're planning a trip to Boone September 1st through 3rd, Youngman advises downloading the Farm Progress Show app for your mobile device. An Illinois congressman continues to support year-round E15. Eric Sorensen serves on the House Ag Committee and represents the 17th Congressional District.
E15, it's not just good for farmers, but it's good for anybody at the pump. That will be immediate, but then it also means that the infrastructure can be built out at gas stations. I talked with automakers who are building engines, right? When now gas engines can take E15 and better blends of ethanol, it's going to incentivize them to build these engines because now we have year-round E15 across the entire nation.
According to Sorensen, the policy change would increase corn demand by 2 billion bushels. A reminder from Don Schaefer at Springfield, Illinois-based Midwest Truckers Association that this is Rural Road Safety Awareness Week.
It's a program of the Federal Highway Administration. Basically what it does, it spotlights the unique challenges of traveling on rural roads because of the fact that, driving on a rural road is a lot different than driving in the city, bottom line. The big thing, the numbers speak for themselves. In 2024, over 39,000 people died in traffic crashes. 41% of those crashes occurred on rural roadways. But then you got to remember, only 20% of the population lives in rural areas. So you're seeing a disproportionate number of fatalities occurring on these rural roads. And, the big thing about it is that, Federal Highway has ongoing programs just to, increase awareness of the mistakes that can happen on a rural road. And I think most of us can understand that. If we drive them all the time. We know how to handle intersections. We know how to handle blind spots, these types of things. But you've got to remember, there's a lot of people who drive on rural roads infrequently. They get on there, and that's where the accidents and problems occur. So the big thing is, be cognizant of the fact that there are people out there who may not know how to handle the roadway, and a little bit of extra safety every day. And that's basically the message out there.
The Midwest Truckers Association represents 4,300 members in 15 states, including in Illinois. Promoting agriculture in Cook County is a big deal for Blake Lanphier, this year's Illinois Farm Bureau Young Leader Excellence in Agriculture Award winner.
There's a ton of ag in Cook County. That's we have row crop, we have a bunch of tillable ground. There's ag or urban producers, there's smaller producers, but it's very diverse. And there's a ton of agriculture here. And most people don't think about it. And I think, with my Excellence in Ag application, I talked about that. I talked about how there are a very large diversity of growers here, and agriculture is everywhere. You just have to look for it. And it's not one thing, it's not one people, it's everybody. And, I talked about the Cook County Farm Bureau, the board of directors. On the board, it's a very diverse. I mean, there's many different things that they all do. And it is a lot more than people think. So yes, there is agriculture everywhere in Cook County.
Lanphier will be honored at the Illinois Farm Bureau annual meeting in Chicago in December, and then represent IFB at the American Farm Bureau Federation annual convention in Charlotte in January. Canning is still used by several households as a food preservation method. But what are some things to consider to assure canned food remains safe and delicious? Rod Bain reports. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. All free, all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Another week of blistering heat will bring even more health risks in the coming days, as overnight temperatures won't provide much relief. It has already been a sweltering start to the summer across much of the U.S. due to the long-lasting heat dome. The blistering temperatures over the past few weeks have caused heat-related deaths in New Jersey and helped fuel wildfires in the West. A Dutch shipper says one of its ships was attacked off Oman in the Arabian Sea as Iran is targeting vessels. The U.S. launched a third night of strikes Across a broad swath of Iran, President Trump notifying Congress that limited military action had resumed. France and Spain play today in Dallas in the first of two powerhouse semifinal matches. Defending champion Argentina and England play in the other semifinal match on Wednesday. This is SRN News.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
MediShare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with MediShare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
What I keep telling people love MediShare and they love saving tons of money too. The typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for MediShare. It is so different. And I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The Lincoln Rail Splitter football program hit the field for its first summer 7-on-7 competition last week in Monticello, and first-year head coach Aaron Fricke liked what he saw from his squad. Following just 2 days of practice, Coach Fricke admitted he didn't know what to expect heading into the summer showcase. However, he was extremely pleased with his team's competitive spirit and resilience throughout the day.
Did not know what to expect. Expected not much, honestly. We've had 2 days of practice, like we were talking about earlier. I told the kids to compete. I wanted to see good attitudes. When you come into a losing program, I think you expect to see a lot of heads drop and, they battled the whole day. Like all the little things I wanted to see from them. Mistakes that they made are correctable. So I'm excited. That was way better than I expected.
Fricke notes that making mistakes during early summer workouts is completely expected, but seeing his players execute at full speed provides valuable learning material on tape as they build the foundation for the fall.
Making mistakes and not being afraid to make mistakes. You can only correct things, when you find the mistake. And we got some good film to work with now. I think early in the summer, especially, they can see the film from Warrensburg and see those kids, but they need to see themselves do it. So a lot of stuff to correct, but we have them making mistakes at full speed. So that's good.
With the initial 7-on-7 competition in the books, the Railers are set to shift their focus back to fundamental team installation, getting linemen back in the mix and putting on shoulder pads as summer workouts progress step by step.
After the 2-day mini camp, getting ready for 7-on-7, we'll get back to the run game, but we do have to run the ball a little bit. So getting the linemen involved, and now shoulder pads come on for us. So it's just literally step by step.
Check out highlights of the Monticello 7-on-7 competition from last week at IL Sports Wire. And be sure to find more highlights from the competition this week on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. St. Louis Cardinals second baseman J.J. Wetherholt has $20 million in escalators based on MVP voting and All-Star selection as part of his $112.5 million 8-year contract that starts next year. Wetherholt receives a $2 million signing bonus payable on November 15th under the terms of the deal announced Friday. He gets salaries of $2.5 million next season, $4 million in 2028, $7.5 million in 2029, $12.5 million in 2030, $17 million in 2031, $20 million in 2032, $22 million in 2033, and $25 million in 2034. Wetherholt can start earning the escalators in 2031 and boost his salary up to $5 million in 2032 and $7.5 million in each of the following 2 seasons. He would receive a $5 million boost in all following seasons for winning an MVP award and $2.5 million for finishing second through fifth in voting. Wetherholt would get a $500 increase in the following season, only for finishing 6th through 10th, and he would get a $250,000 raise the next season if he is an all-star. He would be given a $2 million assignment bonus if traded. Wetherholt was selected 7th overall in 2024 in the amateur draft and signed for a $6.9 million bonus. He made the Cardinals opening day roster this season and homered against Tampa Bay in his debut on March 26th. Wetherholt is earning the $780,000 major league minimum this year as a part of a contract that calls for a $63,600 salary while in the minor leagues. Jordan Walker wore his Cardinal hat backward, chewed a big wad of bubble gum, and wore the top of his jersey splayed open as he dug in for the final home run derby swing. The picture of Cardinals cool Walker chased down Kyle Schwarber, shut up a rambunctious Philly crowd, and introduced himself to a much wider baseball world. Walker used 6 swings to swat 6 homers, besting Schwarber in a dramatic final round that silenced all those boo birds that made him the first St. Louis Cardinal to win the home run derby on Monday night. Schwarber hit 11 homers during his 15-swing turn in the final round. Philly fans who jeered everyone but Schwarber and Bryce Harper throughout the night quietly headed toward the exits when Walker's winning shot soared over the left field wall. Walker is a first-time All-Star and is having a breakout season in St. Louis. He already has a career-high 22 home runs this season after struggling with a combined 11 over the previous 2 years. He fulfilled this childhood dream in striking fashion. Walker hit his 7th homer with 2 swings remaining and his 8th on the next swing to earn bonus swings. Needing to hit 4 straight homers to win, the right-handed Walker knocked one off the top of the center field fence 401 feet away. He reached 10 homers, and Philly fans booed with all their might, only for Walker to finish the sensational surge and celebrate as fireworks shot off around him. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. High temperatures reach up to 90 with fog and spots early today under clear skies. Northeast winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 69 with fog and spots tonight. Becoming mainly sunny with fog and spots early. Tomorrow, highs level off around 91. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, it's 71 degrees.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLoss Yankee. According to the latest crop progress and condition report from Ag Statistics,